Tonight we're back at the video store, back in the aisles of our memories, pulling one off the shelf again. Simon West directed, Jerry Bruckheimer produced, Nicolas Cage at his cagiest, Malkovich, Cusack, Ving Rhames, Steve Buscemi, Danny Trejo, Dave Chappelle. 1997 is the year. Con Air is the shit show.
I think that's a rather dismissive description of this film. This is one of the great bad films. This is one of the great bad films ever made. It is, yeah, it might be a shit show, but I don't consider
it's a great shit show.
It's a great shit show, and I think the thing about it that makes it different than anything else that is in the Bruckheimer filmography, the films that expanded on the Top Guns, because that's all Bruckheimer. Top Gun, I think Flashdance. I think this gaudy kind of commercial. Not commercial as in popular, but commercial television type of imagery, the kind of portraiture that's on the screen. So the look of the films. This is the worst. This is the best of the worst, is what I'm implying, and I think that if this film had tried to take itself seriously in any way, it would be an utter failure. And I think that was part of the problem that I had with last week's episode. Michael Bay's Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer produced The Rock, is that film wanted to be more than it actually was, and I believe thought that it was. This film knows that it's ridiculous, it's moronic, it's every cliche that you can imagine. They comment on the level of cliche within the movie, and if you allow yourself to just sell out to that, I think you'll have a really good stupid time in a movie that really is, it's not McDonald's, it's even less than McDonald's, but it's fun. I'm kind of interested. You liked The Rock a hell of a lot more than I did, and I'm getting the sense that you didn't enjoy this film. I don't know if you didn't enjoy it or you enjoyed it. I mean, ironically,
Yes, I enjoyed it as a shit show.
Mm-hmm. Which is still enjoying it.
Sure. Yeah. I enjoyed it as a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking cheesy ass dialogue.
But would the film have worked without cheesy ass dialogue and Brian song type emotion? And he's like, somehow I'm lying here in a pool of blood. I don't believe in God. I'm gonna show you that God does exist. How can you not laugh your ass off at that moment? How can you not sit there and just fucking giggle uncontrollably at the ridiculousness of it? I'm sorry.
Part of it is just, it is going back in time. Yeah. It is going back and kind of like trying to put yourself at that place. We can do that it's a weird thing. If we take ourselves back to when we were watching Apocalypse Now, obviously it's not in the days, or Godfather, it's not in the days of when The Godfather was made. It's our childhood watching something that already existed. Then there are films, what was it that you mentioned before we started recording? You said, whatever film, and I said, fuck, we were talking about John Woo stuff. So we're talking about like Hard Target and all that. And I said, oh shit, Van Damme with a mullet or whatever I said. And it was like, fuck, I saw that in the theater, and I can actually, like, I feel like I can place myself in that tiny fucking theater a mile away from where I speak where I sit right now. And the building is there, but the theater is closed. It exists only as a landmark. And I can feel the seat. I can smell the butter. Like I'm there. And so very much as with The Rock, it's kind of like I'm back in this fucking 90s place. The difference is that if you were to drop me into that same theater and I'm watching Pulp Fiction, there's a sense of like this movie, there's something about this movie, and a kind of a sense that like in the same way, when Nirvana broke, it's kind of like I don't understand. All I know is that this seems important, not only because I'm a fucking teenager, but because it just seems like everyone else understands that it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Con Air, no. Con Air, it's just fucking like Con Air is one of those that you go just to fucking have fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking stupid. And then later on, if and when you rent it, it's the same thing. You're a little bit older than you were when Pulp Fiction came out. At this point, it's kind of like you're at some fucking house with a bunch of people. There's fucking pizza, whatever the fuck else is around. At this point, it's kind of like you're not watching the film anymore. You're just making out with the girl next to you. Every once in a while, you may laugh because whatever annoying friend is like, no, look. And it's kind of like, I'm busy. But it's that kind of film. Years later, you fucking grow up. Before you have to go to work, you sit and you watch this fucking film. Or before you have to go to work, you sit and fucking watch this film so you can talk about it on a podcast. It's a shit show. Is it fun? Yes. Is it? I don't even know how to like compare it to The Rock. Like I understand you're saying, yeah, The Rock took itself somewhat seriously. Mm-hmm. I mean, a Bruckheimer produced film, Crimson Tide, takes itself seriously, and I think that's probably the best. That's probably the best Bruckheimer produced film that I can think of, mm-hmm. Because of the cast and the drama of it.
Well, that's the thing. You have a good cast. You have Denzel. You have Gene Hackman, but you also have Tony Scott directing.
Sure,
moving that ship.
I mean, that's so right. Still better than fucking Top Gun. Still better than Days of Thunder. Mm-hmm. The point is like in the Bruckheimer universe, you go into that fucking universe of fucking big, shots of, there's explosions, there's shots of explosions behind actors, shots of actors outrunning explosions, running into explosions, rolling out of explosions, rolling into explosions, the patriotism stuff that also, overlaps with Michael Bay, the Americana, the fucking, the nonsense. It's kind of like I think I described The Rock last week as, because we were talking about, is it McDonald's? No, of course. It's like AM, PM fucking gas station food.
Yeah.
When you roll into the fucking gas station and you go and you get that fucking burger, assuming that they still have that, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. You're going in there because you need to take a piss and you need gas. And you're hungry, so you're like, well, I need calories. You know what you're getting. This is just fucking junk food.
No, this is absolute garbage. Yeah, absolutely. But if you're having a good time, that's the thing. It's like this is ramen. There's no nutritional value to it. The college packs of ramen. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right,
I
yeah,
don't want to
you
say
gotta.
ramen. I don't want to say ramen. I'm
That's
saying
you did say ramen
I
though.
know what I said, but you know what I'm talking about. The college packs of ramen
Take
with
it
that.
back.
I'll take it back. I'll no, I'll rewind and edit is what I will do. I ain't taking shit back. You know, top
Fix it in
ramen
post.
bullshit with we'll fix
Yes.
it in
Yeah.
post. We'll do it live. Fuck it, we're gonna do it live, okay? So this is what I'm talking about. Is that
You're hired.
when there's no nutritional value, it's when I'm watching this movie, I'm laughing my ass off because this is the epitome of bad writing, um, horrible writing in a ridiculous scenario that supposedly actually kind of exists. There is a prison system flight designated like this. I don't think that they would as as what Cameron Poe says in the film, they somehow managed to get every creep and freak in the universe onto this one plane, and then somehow managed to let them take it over, and then somehow managed to stick us right smack in the middle. I love that because, I love that he says that in the middle of this stupid fucking movie because he's letting us know that everybody involved in this thing knows it's stupid. Everybody knows that it's a ridiculous scenario, it's moronic, but that's the ride, and you're gonna have a good time. And basically, there's something about watching great actors slum, and this is a who's who of pretty good actors. I mean, Nicolas Cage, as you say, at his cagiest. You said cagiest during The Rock. No. This is his cagiest. This is the
I'm gonna say cagiest every time we do a Nicolas Cage film. Be warned.
This is what that ridiculous accent that he has, that chivalry Southern.
He sounds like that Greg Giraldo bit
about writing the letter.
He talks about writing letters.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like.
That's exactly what he sounds like. I mean, you could, but I love it. And it for me, it wouldn't work without it. It needs that. It needs a level of just stupidity where I'm listening to these things. It's like, what are you going to do for me, Poe? What I always do. I'm going to save the fucking day. Who
You fucking love this film.
I love this film. Could you say that line? Could you, if you were Nicolas Cage, let's say Ibrahim Chavez in Con Air, if somebody gave you that script, would you see the ridiculousness enough to be able to deliver that line the way he does? I love this movie for that line alone. The delivery of that line, the balls it took to write that line and to present it to an Oscar-winning actor. I think he was Oscar-winning at this point, and ask him to play this fucking moronic role, and say, okay, but I'm gonna say it this way. He says it with so much. You remember how I said that Ed Harris was playing in a better movie than The Rock actually was? That was one of my points in that film, is that Ed Harris was performing a much more detailed and sympathetic. It was a much more sympathetic performance than that film deserved. Nicolas Cage's performance in this film is even stupider than this film actually is, and I gotta commend him on that. You know what I mean? It's really he's a cartoon. It's such a weird piecing together of stereotypes of the Southern gentleman in literature, in film, cartoons almost, and as you watch it, you're like, well, shit, if you're gonna go this far with it, you might as well take it to its ultimate limit. And I think any other actor besides Nicolas Cage would have been frightened to do what he does in this film. That's what I love about this film, is that it fully is it a masterpiece? No. Is it gonna make me forget Taxi Driver or Lawrence or Apocalypse. No. But god damn, in its own right, in its own alternate universe of stupid films, this is the greatest stupid film ever made. It's so much of a good time for me. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy this fucking movie. And I was watching it last night after having not seen it for probably almost a decade. There was a little bit of a fear in me where I thought, this isn't going to be as good as I remembered. And it was better. The fact that he's doing yoga in prison, he's trying to get some sleep while a riot is going on. He's this character that is so focused and centered on the life that he's trying to get to after being wrongfully imprisoned for one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in a movie. For a judge in a movie to actually say the line, "With your training, you are a specialized weapon." That is... I mean, come on, man. Fucking just sell out to it, man. Stop being so goddamn fucking... Stop being so grounded in reality. Come to the fucking dark side. Please, come with me and enjoy this movie. I feel like you're missing out on how stupid this thing is and how much fun it is. I think you recognize how stupid it is.
True.
Embrace how fucking stupid and enjoyable it is. I feel bad for you. This is the only time in all the movies that we've ever discussed, this is the only time that I really feel sorry for you that you can't enjoy this film the way I do. It's so fucking stupid.
I can't let go.
I can't let go.
I can't. I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
For being stupid, I can't enjoy it on that level.
Oh, okay.
There are other bad films that are not as good as this, that are worse than this,
Yeah.
that I can enjoy more. Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll get to those.
There's also something about this. This is made for adults, and this is okay. Granted, this is very much a movie for teenage boys, but it's also there's a frightening number of people who love this film as a real movie. That part scares the shit out of me, but it also makes me laugh.
It is a real movie.
You know what I mean?
It is a fucking real movie.
In the sense of, oh, that shit could happen, man. They could get that fucker playing up there, and them motherfuckers could take that shit over, and it would be over for the rest of us. You know, that's why there's a Second Amendment, because I got the right to bear arms. Because that some bitch come down to my neighborhood, I'm gonna pull that motherfucker out. I'm gonna defend my family and everything. Fuck them. You know, this is there is an element in this world that embraces this situation. And that makes me laugh. I mean, I'm at a point now in my life where you're not supposed to love the stupidity of people, but I can't let it get to me like I once did. And a movie like this really showcases the level of I don't know, low IQ bullshit that exists. I love
that's what's fucking marketed out. You know what I mean? And the real thing that got me about this film was thinking about it. I mean, and obviously, like, this is pre 9/11, but there had been skyjackings and shit like that in the past. This is, I mean, of course, this can happen. In whatever level of reality that this, you know, anything that can happen will happen, right?
Yeah.
The thing that got me was looking at the cast, and when you recommended this film, you were highlighting this like 90s hodgepodge fucking cast of John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, Cusack, Buscemi. Buscemi had already done. He had done Reservoir Dogs. He had done Fargo. Ving Rhames had done Pulp Fiction. He had done Mission Impossible. I don't think Out of Sight.
Had he done Mission Impossible?
I think Mission Impossible is the year before.
No, because I don't think he was in the first Mission Impossible. I don't think he came until the second one, right? I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Because I think he's unless my memory, the first one is when you have he's hanging from the wire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was already involved in that, and I may be wrong, but a lot of this is we're going on memory, and these are not films that I like. Yeah. For whatever, okay, Mission Impossible, but I think he was in it. I don't think he had done Out of Sight yet. Out of Sight, he hadn't done yet. But my point is, are you looking it up?
Yeah, he was. He was in the original. Yeah.
Okay, so then, so the point is that we think of these actors in a certain way, and they would do. I think Buscemi did better work with better directors at different times. Ving Rhames as well. Mm-hmm. Malkovich, slumming, clearly here. Yeah. John Cusack in an action film. He has a different kind of there's a different image that you have of what do you think of John Cusack?
Yeah.
It made me think of versus what you described for Ed Harris in The Rock. How much can an actor elevate a film, and how much do certain films elevate actors? Because I thought that, and the importance of casting, just because you have these different on the rise, some already established and some on the rise, particularly like Ving Rhames and Buscemi, on the rise actors who are going to be very much known for that particular decade specifically. Just because you have this hodgepodge doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
No, absolutely not. Okay, I get that. Yeah,
and look, I think I understand. Okay, let's go in with this concept of this. This is stupid good fun. But how many millions of dollars were spent on this film? Stupid good fun, but these motherfuckers are making this film. The production of this film, people are saying I think this is a great idea. This is really cool. This is really interesting. That's really funny. Whoever the fuck wrote this film, whoever wrote the script, or however many hands it went through to get to where to come to fruition, they felt good about this dialogue. And I don't feel that this film is, I think it's an approach. I think it's a strategy to watch this film the way you're watching it. I think it's a survival strategy.
This is me being tortured. I'm going to my happy place in this movie so I can get.
You have to go into a film like this with that. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's what do you have left with? You know what I mean? But it's not like a death proof. Tarantino is smart enough to know I'm making something that's good, but I'm making it look shitty.
Yeah.
Or I'm making something that's really self-indulgent, but I don't give a shit because it's good, because it's made well, or because it's because it has this, or it has this nostalgic quality to it, or whatever it is. And there's always a level of irony. I wonder how much of the irony that you're talking about is in all the various aspects of this film, and especially in terms of the casting. I think they're really trying to do this great job, but Steve Buscemi I think is horrible in this film. Ving Rhames I think is but I don't think that that's their fault. I think that's casting. I think what they have. I think it's the direction, because it's a piece of shit film. But why is it? It's very arbitrary because there's so many things that there's such a butterfly kind of effect to it that why is it that you can have a horrible film that an Ed Harris? I mean, he's a way better actor, but Ed Harris can elevate at least an aspect of a film.
Yeah.
But all of these guys couldn't do that with this film.
I think it's possibly because of the limits of the material. I mean, with the Ed Harris role, that's a real guy that you can relate to, you understand, you can. There's a certain level of frustration that the story itself brings to it that is true to what Ed Harris is doing. So the surrounding film might be shit, but that character is based in reality to a degree. You know, that is not available here. These are all stock cartoonish caricatures of the supervillain, the rapist, the serial killer, the heightened serial killer. I disagree. I think Buscemi's. I don't think it's anywhere near Buscemi's best work, but I do think he's enjoyable in it in some of the scenes. As he's just sitting there, I think his entrance is great as they're bringing him in, and you knew
Just
that
want
was
to be Hannibal Lecter.
Well, watching it.
That's what
They watched.
It's a nod to that.
They watched it, and to have these poles attached to him so that they can maintain distance like he's some kind of a dog. It's excessive. There's so much about this film that is excessive. Ving Rhames seems to be, for me, whatever the performances are, they seem to be having fun making the film.
That's true.
And that's I think the selling point for me was that they're it's a bunch of little boys playing make believe, cops and robbers type of shit, and they're having fun with it. Even Malkovich, who reportedly was upset with a lot of the film because they were constantly rewriting the character. And he couldn't get a handle on where the thing was going. Even Malkovich, even Malkovich seems to be having moments of fun. I mean, for him to hold up that bunny rabbit and say one more step and the bunny gets it, I love the stupidity of it. I love the fact that it just, there's so many moments there that are played for the obvious stupidity of it, and then others that are genuine, sincerely stupid. The Brian song moment where Poe holds on to Baby O and he's telling him that he's going to make it and all that. I mean, how many times have you seen that in a movie?
Yeah, fucking Trisha Yearwood, fucking
exactly. But the fact that
how do I live without you?
but the fact that Nicolas Cage is delivering it with that accent, it just makes it even more. I don't know who okayed that accent, because I can imagine that the studio said there's no way he's gonna do that accent through the whole film.
It's probably in the fucking script. It's probably like Southern accent, fucking Southern gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I can see the high fives. I can see the fucking. I can see the pre-production stuff. This is gonna be amazing, guys. We each of us just wanted to see the Fall Guy.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point. You're bringing up the Fall Guy. I'm interested in where you're going to go with this.
The Fall Guy was a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Fall Guy is very from a Hollywood insider perspective, a stuntman perspective. It has nods to Tom Cruise doing his own stunts. It has even nods to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It has all of this stuff. It has going back to the TV show. It has all of this kind of, it's very meta. It's very aware of itself. It references itself. It winks at the camera. It does all of this stuff in a way that's smart and in a way that's engaging, because you're following the story and you're there to have a good time, and it is fun because you're watching stunts and you're watching stunt guys do stunts and etc. And actors pretending to be stuntmen doing stunts, etc. There's a certain kind of style that you see with people bullshitting each other on set. Oh, that was amazing. Fucking brilliant. Amazing. How was it? Did I do okay? You were amazing. So fucking good. Fucking nailed it. Oh my God. Really? Yeah. Trust me. I can see that happening around this kind of film with Nick, the accent. Amazing. So, Southern Gentleman, fuck. Amazing. Like all that jerking each other off, and even beforehand, like, this is gonna be great. Oh, Southern, wow, okay. They're doing a read through, they're doing a table read. Everyone sits around the table and fucking goes through the script. They're laughing, they're thinking, it's true, they're having fun. Exactly what you say. But the danger is, and this is the funny part for us, is like I see, like, I think your view of it is that everyone is having fun all the way through, and they know they're just playing, and they're enjoying the process so that we, the viewer, can enjoy the process, and everyone wins. But there's my view is that somewhere from the inception of this concept through the filming and through the viewing of it is like someone's taking this shit fucking seriously.
Yeah.
Because it is a real film. Because it's a film. It is a piece of shit. And it is fun. But the Fall Guy shows, because we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Fall Guy shows, and the Fall Guy kind of like takes away. It shows the emperor with no clothes. It shows you some of these bits of vocabulary, some of these things that say, okay, if you do this supposedly inspiring speech on top of a car, surrounded by enough extras that make it look like you have an army around you, and you do these crane shots, and you do the Matthew McConaughey accent or whatever, and then you play rousing music that if you were to put the fucking closed caption on, or sometimes it would say rousing music, you put that kind of music underneath, and you have the right kind of close up, and you have the director look at the camera or however he does it, and the eyes are getting watery, maybe the teardrop is forming, the hair is blowing. You have a shoot to the woman who loves him and the way she looks at him like so fucking impressed and blah, blah, blah. You can affect a viewer, and you can make a viewer feel excited, interested, all of these things. The Fall Guy says, look, we're going to do this. We're going to do all these things, and the actor can be horrible, but we can do these things to make it seem larger than what it is. And that's movie magic. This film does that in true Bruckheimer style. It's able to make you have fun, make you laugh, make you feel exhilarated. The explosions, the more ridiculous, the more ridiculous you want it to be. It's fake. It's like pornography. Like, that this is, you're watching porn. And it's like, to a certain level, it's like, well, this isn't like so-called realistic porn. I want it to be more pornographically porn. I want it to be more ridiculous. I want bigger tits. I want bigger hair. I want whatever. that's this kind of thing. My shit is that it's just kind of like, I agree with all of that. But the scary part is that I think that some of these people buy into the bullshit that it's not a piece of shit. You're saying that it's some fucking whatever accent you use, that it's some fucking Second Amendment fucking don't tread on me hillbilly somewhere.
That was just me going after the deplorables. I'm sorry.
But the thing is that it's like, to use that metaphor of the deplorables, it's kind of like maybe Donald Trump is like, yeah, this is bullshit, but it works and we're all having a good time, right? But some people, including the people that help fund him, they think it's real.
Yeah,
they buy into it. Some of these Hollywood motherfuckers are like, well, look, like, yeah, it's all bullshit, but they don't believe in the message of the film or the kind of the they don't even believe in cinema. They just believe in business. But somewhere in here is and I don't even know why should I care that I have this like rock in my shoe. Maybe I just, because I believe in cinema, I don't know what the fuck it is. Why am I even talking about it? The point is that I do feel that there are people in that chain from the inception of this film through to the viewing of the film that take this film seriously. Even me to the point that I'm fucking like dissing the film is kind of like, is it even that important to fucking like even have this conversation? It's important enough because we're having it. And I think it is important to have it, whatever the purpose of it is. But there's something strange about films like this to me. And at the very least, I think it's kind of like, it shows, and I'm rambling, but it shows to me kind of how arbitrary the whole movie making and movie viewing process is, both sides of it, because it's like, we've done this game where we've shuffled. What if it had this cast? Like we've done that play acting. We've done the pretend. We've done the what is it called? The fantasy football of casting it. There's a cast that you could create that would make this film better, with the including dialogue, everything else being the same, all things being equal except for the cast. That's not what we got. We got this cast.
Well, originally, part of that fantasy football thing was Gary Oldman in the Cyrus the Virus role.
Oldman turned it out. I could see that working because he would have done the weird kind of professional thing that he did, like the swallowing the pill and doing whatever, and the Beethoven stuff.
But don't you have any kind of a sense of, well, we've seen Gary Oldman do something like this. I kind of like the idea of Malkovich going into uncharted territory. And you got to remember, this is before Malkovich. Before this, Malkovich was a highly respected seducer almost in films, Dangerous Liaisons, different films like that, where he was very classy. It was this film that turned him into the villain. It was this film that turned him into a dangerous type of presence on screen that other filmmakers could take advantage of, that you would see it in later performances. That's cool. So for me, that's pretty cool.
That's cool as a stepping stone.
Yeah. And I like that. But I like what he does in this film. I like the fact that he is this criminal mastermind, and he underplays a lot of shit in this film in a way in which Gary Oldman would have played it up. And it's not that my alternate universe idea of seeing other actors in roles. I still live in that world. I still marvel at the possibilities of an Ed O'Neill in Deadwood. But
With AI, we can probably do
we
that.
could
You know what I
probably
mean?
do
At
that.
some
Yeah,
point, we'll be able to swap these motherfuckers out, voice and all.
that's a dangerous place to be because you're not really getting the actor. You're getting the image of
No,
the actor, and that's.
right?
I think that was one of the problems. I don't know if we talked about it in. I think the second Star Wars sequel with them bringing back Peter Cushing. I didn't like that because I thought it was insulting to the actor.
Yeah.
You know, because
I also got the image of the actor. I mean, that's what I got. I got Ving Rhames, the image of the actor, and obviously Ving Rhames has become whatever he's become. Even though my image of Ving Rhames exists before this film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I think Ving Rhames as Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah.
And Steve Buscemi, you know, from Reservoir.
Yeah.
But a lot of these other actors, I think it could have been, with the exception, I think, of Nicolas Cage, I think these other people are interchangeable. Even I think, like, just shuffle them around with the same actors in the movie itself, in the same film. It's kind of like, would it have made a difference? What would the difference have been had it been John Malkovich in exchange for Steve Buscemi? Had they switched roles? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, John Malkovich is carrying more of the film. But what's the point of having this cast? Where were they at that point? Like I said, we knew them from Tarantino stuff, Rhames and Buscemi. But what's the point? Because it's kind of like you're not really getting the actor. Or maybe that's all you're getting. I don't know. Are you getting, because what performance are you getting? You're just getting, like you said, this stock character with cheesy as fuck dialogue. If anything, this is just all a vehicle for Nicolas Cage to be ridiculous, which I'm all for.
It's enough for me. It really is enough for me.
But at that point, is it like, are the studio people saying, well, we need some guys who have been in other stuff? Or is it that everyone's turning this shit down and they're not? You know what I mean?
Well, there's a fact
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean there's a fact in filmmaking where you have a dream cast, you have an idea of who you want. And that doesn't mean you're going to get them. That doesn't mean that they're either interested in making the film or that they are willing to get in there. Or, you know, I mean, there's so many people that were considered for different roles in this film. For the Cyrus.
Tell me some of these names.
Okay, let me get you that. And this is all off of IMDb, so I'm never really sure how accurate some of that is because I've, you know, when they start doing this shit, they really just start throwing out different names for people that they would like to see or possibilities. For here's okay, this would have been an obvious good move instead of John Malkovich in the Cyrus role. Willem Dafoe. I think Willem Dafoe could have done a great job with this. Well, but he had done that. See, the thing is, Willem Dafoe has done that. We've seen
he's been doing that.
He's been doing that. He's Willem Dafoe. I mean, you know, Mickey Rourke supposedly brought a Bowie knife to the audition. He scared the shit out of the director, but he was impressed by him. So, and this is a point when Mickey Rourke's career was at a pretty low point. So, There was that. Let me see, when Patrick Swayze was considered for the Nicolas Cage role, from what I've read.
Okay.
I can't see that.
A little bit of Roadhouse on a plane.
Yeah, but I don't think it would. I don't think Patrick Swayze could go to the. This film needs that.
Right.
It hit, like you said. You mentioned Nicolas Cage is the one that kept me replaced in this movie. So for Cyrus, they talked about Gary Oldman, like I said, Kevin Bacon, Alec Baldwin, George Clooney, De Niro, Michael Douglas, Richard Dreyfuss, James Gandolfini.
Wait, so hold on, whoa. Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know. That would be going against character. That would be going against type. A small, nebbish type.
Go through that list again, slower. Let me digest this. Let's play.
Gary Oldman.
Okay, we can see that.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Bacon. Good utility character actor, but I don't think would have worked in that role.
Kevin Bacon, in order to do a role, he needs to show his ass, and he was pretty good as the pedophile guard cocksucker lowlife in Sleepers. He was pretty good in that. I mean, that was like, he was a real lowlife scumbag motherfucker in that. I was glad to see that those Irish hoodlums shot him in the chest as he ate his fucking dinner. I was like, yeah, he doesn't. Fuck him. He deserves that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin would have, but that would have been fucking.
It's a completely different movie.
Well, so is fucking Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
At the same time, they would have lent. I almost feel like, I feel like that cast would have demanded a rewrite.
Yeah.
Not to say that the actors would have demanded it, but there would be by necessity they would need to rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
Because already if you put Swayze and Alec Baldwin, I mean, I think probably Alec Baldwin himself would probably have demanded a rewrite. Because it would have been grounded in much more of a reality.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
and I think that's poison for this film. A film grounded in reality. We wouldn't be talking about it 25 years later, 30 years later.
We're only talking about it because of you.
Of course. You lay that like it's some kind of fucking shame. Like I should be ashamed to climb on that cross. Fuck that. I love this film. I love it for the reasons that I'm giving. I love how completely stupid it is. I'm unlike you. I wouldn't. But I agree with you. I wouldn't change the casting. I mean, I like seeing Malkovich do this. Yeah. Clooney, which I couldn't see in the Cyrus role. No, never.
No.
Robert De Niro. Too much like, no. I mean, he's done shit like this. Not Michael Douglas. He's not imposing enough. Dreyfuss. I think Dreyfuss would have been interesting. I honestly think Dreyfuss would have been interesting. I don't know anything that he's done that would lead into this, but maybe. Gandolfini. Too big. Too imposing. No. Ed Harris. Interesting. I'm not sure. Rutger Hauer.
To go ahead at Harris. Whoa, okay, Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer would be interesting. Rutger Hauer did a film later in his career called Hobo with a Shotgun.
I've seen that film.
That's a fun, stupid movie.
Another piece of shit.
It's a complete piece of shit, but I love that. I had a really good time watching that. It's a piece of shit, no doubt.
Well, it's also like it's a B movie made as a B movie. I don't even think
that's a Corman film. That's a Corman fucking movie. That doesn't even rise to B. That's such a shitty fucking movie, but you love it anyway because it's like it's
like a Machete kind of film.
It's exactly Machete, you know. But you were saying about Ed Harris. You wanted to go back
to go Ed Harris against Nicolas Cage again.
I would like to see Ed Harris in full Pollock mode performing Cyrus, because I love Ed Harris. I love Ed Harris. I think Ed Harris is one of the scariest villains I've ever seen on film. When he shows up at that diner in History of Violence, and you see that eye, and he's like, Joey did this to me, and he does that thing with the hand. I'm like, oh, this is a bad motherfucker. Ed Harris is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
You do
Ed
not
Harris.
want to be drinking with Ed Harris. You don't. Because I think Ed Harris carries a level of crazy off camera that makes it possible for him to do what he does on camera. I think I've never seen an interview with Ed Harris where he wasn't completely serious. The man has no sense of humor whatsoever. I've never seen him in a comedy. I've never seen him do anything. I don't think I've ever seen him laugh. You know? There's no jovial nature there. There's nothing but it's kind of a sad fucking existence. I don't know what I don't know.
He's just tough.
He's a tough motherfucker, you know, and he's not imposing, but there's something about him that makes him. Physically, he's not imposing, but there is something about him that makes that elevates him to a different level of. When I've. You know, he won't talk about The Abyss. He won't talk about making that movie. And he hates James Cameron so much that he won't discuss the film. And there are stories that he would break down in tears in that film. But I don't think it was one of those, oh, he's a fucking crybaby thing. I think it was everything that he could do to keep himself from killing James Cameron. That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of one of those guys that he's just like, this motherfucker. It would have been interesting to see him in this, but it would have changed the dynamic of the film, and I don't think it would have succeeded with him. You want to hear the rest of the list?
I sure do.
Bill Hurt. Oh, William Hurt.
For the villain?
For Cyrus, yeah. I've seen William Hurt in a lot of really interesting roles. I don't know if I can see him in this. Yeah, William Hurt was very interesting, but I don't know of this. I think he was the only thing that we liked about that Ken Russell film, Altered States. He was the only thing about that movie that I liked. I liked the idea, but I liked him. I didn't like the film, remember? Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's always been an interesting actor to me.
For sure.
Michael Keaton has never been. Yeah, I don't know. I don't either. I think he could have surprised. This one would not have worked in any way. Michael Madsen.
No.
Right?
He's too cool.
He's too cool, and he doesn't have the sophistication necessary. But he's cool. He's like a. If the Fonz hadn't been a ridiculous 60s era TV show, that's who Michael Madsen would have been the tough guy. And then Michael Madsen was Brando riding into town in The Wild One. Michael Madsen was that guy. Leather jacket, tough, but cool. And, Michael Madsen tells these stories where it's like kids will come up to him and they know him from Free Willy. But their parents are looking at him and they know him as Mr. Blonde. So it's a weird fucking thing, you know? These kids.
Guy who cut the fucking whale's ear off?
Can you imagine how fucked up that is?
Or Orca, whatever.
Yeah. They also talked about Nicholson. Too crazy. Too fucking nuts. No, I can't see it. Can you see it? I can't see it.
No, because it's like for this film, you're like, it can't be grounded. It can't be grounded in reality, right? But you're like, too crazy.
Yeah. Fucking Nicholson.
No.
Nicholson? No. Sean Penn. Not crazy enough.
Sean Penn's crazy. But you need a big character.
Sean Penn is in reality crazy, but not film crazy. He's not this character.
Now I want Nicholson.
Yeah. Ron Perlman.
No, he's not. He's not. He doesn't have enough.
Doesn't have gravitas.
Weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Gravitas. Tim Robbins. Yeah. You were saying?
Oh, I was gonna say he could have been one of the Ron Perlman. He's an ensemble guy.
He could definitely be one of the criminals. He could have been.
He could have been Ving Rhames.
Yeah, he could have been Ving. Yeah, Put him in blackface and, Day of the Dog.
Don't even put him in blackface. Just have him be this black nationalist.
Make light-skinned black nationalist.
Already more interesting.
Tim Robbins.
Too damaged. He plays like that vulnerable shit too well.
You're right. Tommy Sizemore.
Again, ensemble guy.
Yeah.
I think he would have made the film. He would have fit in better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't see it. Travolta.
I don't think so.
I think Travolta started doing cookie cutter shit around the time of after Pulp Fiction. So if you look at he would go into these weird kind of things. What's going to be real interesting is when we do Face Off and we try to see who's trying to out-weird they're really trying to out-weird each other. And then it's interesting that Travolta is trying to get cagey and Cage is trying to get somewhat Travolta. It's a weird kind of... That's a weird fucking world. I would love to see how... I'm going to be interested in going back to that one. Peter Weller.
Who's Peter Weller?
Remind me. RoboCop.
No.
Dr. Peter Weller. I'm sorry. He insists on being called Dr. Peter Weller.
Okay, sure.
And Bruce Willis. And I can't see Bruce Willis in the role either.
It's they're casting they're pulling from Pulp Fiction to cast film. They're pulling from Tarantino.
Yeah.
And I think they already fucked up twice. Because Ving Rhames, okay, sure.
Who would you have liked to see in the Ving Rhames role?
That's the thing. Is it's a good question. Do I have someone in mind?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't know that it. I don't even know that any of these needed to be a name actor, because it's kind of like.
You know who could have done it?
Who?
I mean, there's only so many black actors that you can pull from. Denzel would have made it a completely different movie. Morgan Freeman is not right for the role, I don't think. No. I would go with Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright would have been interesting, and he would have actually he would have stepped out of the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Wright is the only guy that I can think.
That's a really good one.
Possibly, yeah.
That's a really good one. Okay, so then who would you have cast as this ultra fucking child killing pervert, the Steve Buscemi character?
Well, they wanted to go with Tim Roth originally, which once again the Reservoir.
Again, yeah, they're just pulling from Tarantino.
Mm-hmm. On the record, I like Buscemi in this film, but for the look of the film and what they were doing, and it would have predated both Watchmen and another film he did with Kate Winslet, where he played a pedo. Jackie Earle Haley would have been really good in
Who is that?
Jackie Earle Haley was the tough kid in Bad News Bears. And then he went into
something else.
That's it. That's all. Did you see Watchmen?
I did see Watchmen.
He was that ink spot faced motherfucker, the one that goes into the prison and you think I'm locked up with you. You're locked up with me. That cocksucker. It might have been too cliche casting, but what the fuck is his name from the Warriors? David. The fuck is his name? Warriors, come out and play. You remember?
What are you talking about?
The motherfucker from the Warriors. You don't remember?
I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Warriors, come out and play.
I can't remember the face.
I'm getting old because I can't. This shit used to just come back to me like that. It was
But
like
he kind of looks like the other guy. Is that what you're saying?
kind of, but he fits the character. The fuck is that guy's name?
The guy with the prominent jaw.
David Patrick Kelly.
I think I know. He has
Luther.
the jaw, right?
Yeah, Luther.
He kind of looks like the other guy that you're talking about from Watchmen.
A little bit.
So you're okay.
And
so
he was also in 48 Hours. So I could see him like that.
Someone.
Because they were going for an Ed.
Yeah,
they were going for an Ed Gein kind of thing. Wallace Shawn might have been interesting. I don't know.
I don't know who the fuck that is either.
The Princess
Wallace
Bride.
Shawn.
Remember the Princess Bride? The guy
Oh
with the lisp?
shit! Yeah.
That guy would have been interesting in this. I mean, and he would have fit that. Austin Pendleton, but he played a similar role later on with on Oz. I think it was him and Joel Grey. I think both did similar roles on that. Austin Pendleton played a pedo on I think it was Law and Order. They would kind of want a Woody Allen type in that film if it wasn't so obvious to cast Woody Allen. You know what I mean?
Woody Allen would have been really interesting.
Woody Allen would have been, I think so, but I think it would have been too. I think Woody Allen's. You got to remember, this is way before all of that shit went down, or around the year before that, all that shit went down. Woody Allen, the stature of Woody Allen would have drew away from. All of a sudden, you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's Woody Allen." You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And even in a film a film like this is a real delicate balancing act of not becoming too self-aware. Because it is very self-aware of it. It's very self-aware. They're in on the joke. They know it's a joke. They know the ridiculousness of it, but you can't play too far into it because then you lose the audience. It's a really weird place to find yourself.
I don't know how much credit you may be giving, because it's like, okay, they're in on the joke, but how in on the joke are they? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to think that they're in on the joke because that makes it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. This could be one of the rare instances of everything just coming together as maybe they thought they were making a better movie, and it just, or as they were making it, they were realizing how fucked up a movie it was, and then they kind of just leaned into it, because I can see that happening too.
And it is one of those. Yeah. It is one of those films that because it checks off the boxes, it's gonna get some kind of return. I don't know how well it did at the box office, but
it did pretty well. It wasn't a huge blockbuster hit, but it was a success. It was a successful film that didn't damage anybody involved.
Think about the Bruckheimer body of work. Fucking 80s, Beverly Hills Cop, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Those are big.
Yeah.
Days of Thunder.
But you can only make so many of those movies, And I know what you're saying, where like they're not going to make excuses for it, but all of these films look very much the same. It becomes cookie cutter in the visuals.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's why.
But that's what. So do all those fucking comic book movies, and people still keep going.
Sure.
And at that point, it's like, well, how much of the casting? Some of the casting is important in terms of, especially like maybe in the X-Men ones.
But the difference,
especially the principal characters. But
yeah,
the difference is what?
The difference is when you talk about comic book movies, regardless of who the director is. I see your point. it's a Marvel product. It's a Disney product that is in keeping with an idea of what that universe is. That's why certain films that fall outside of it don't really fit into that. But you'll also look at the DC films, and I'm not an authority on these films. I'm not a comic book nerd. I'm not one of those guys, and I'm not shitting on it. But I got, like I've said in the past,
Right.
I'm not shitting on that. I have my nerd shit that is different from this nerd shit. And, and I fully embrace I'm not shitting on the nerd shit. I'm just saying that it's not mine. If you watch the Marvel films and compare them to the DC films, there's a radical difference in the style of the filmmaking. If you look at DC is more closely in keeping with what Bay did. So it's the framing, it's the stock of the film. It's with Bruckheimer, it's a cottage industry of, can you come in as any director, Michael Bay, Simon West, whoever they bring in, and make a film that is in keeping with the look of what Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer created, which means smoke, slow motion, low camera angles, and this overpowering music. And I love that. You sent me a text saying if Bay had directed this, there'd be more explosions. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, all right. Fucking beautiful.
I mean, it's true.
How many more could you put in? What else could you do?
But that's the thing. It's kind of like, who gives a fuck as long as it has these it's kind of like, you could put in to some AI generator.
Yeah.
You could say Jerry Bruckheimer produced film.
And
you
people
could type in this
shit.
cast.
Yeah.
And you could probably get a better movie than what we got. Now, the magic that you're so into about this film is that
first of all, you're not going to shame me, motherfucker, because I feel.
First of all,
you're trying to shame me.
So
None, not at all. If I love this movie the way I do, there is no shame.
No,
nothing. We're losing listeners at this point because they're like, really? This is what you embrace? Fuck you! I love it.
Either that, or we're losing them because they're like, well, why don't you just fucking accept it and just go with it? To me,
maybe
they're like, you have no argument. So you could type this shit in, get a better film. But the thing is that it's like, again, there's something so fucking arbitrary about, obviously, the subjectivity of viewing a film, right?
Yeah.
But just in the making of it, because it's like, I started to list off some of these films. If you keep going through the 90s, you've got The Rock, you've got this film, you've got Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Crimson Tide, Bad Boys, later on with Pirates. These are all Bruckheimer films, not directed by, but under the umbrella, this cottage industry, as you describe it. You could check off these boxes. To the studio, it's kind of like, look, this is the formula. It's the Bruckheimer shit. If it has this and it has a serviceable cast, we're going to get something back. It's worth making it. Send it out. Yeah. Do it. Make it. Of those films that I mentioned, this is probably the worst. I don't know about Pearl Harbor. I haven't seen that one. I've seen all of those other films that I mentioned.
Name them again.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
Days of Thunder. Top Gun. Bad Boys is pretty bad.
Bad Boys is the worst.
Crimson Tide. The Rock. Armageddon. Did I say Black Hawk Down? That one falls under this. Pirates. This one competes for the worst.
There's no way this film is worse than Armageddon. Armageddon is the worst film that anybody involved in this shit has ever made. It's a horrible film. It's a fucking embarrassment of a film. And you want to talk about an all-star cast. Holy shit.
But this is the thing. It's like the magic that you are playing in when watching this film, that you're reveling in or whatever. It comes from the flaws.
Yeah.
I'm saying we could type in to the AI all these prompts and it would make a better film. But there's something about how stupid it is that fucking gives it whatever that does. That's not something, that's just something that just happens in the mixture of all of these people that I'm saying should have been or could have been someone else.
Yeah.
Right? This cast. The dialogue could have been way better.
No.
The fact that it's
there's
fucking
no
so
way
stupid.
there's no way the dialogue could be better. This is the greatest fucking dialogue ever put in a bad film.
So anyway,
you're talking about a better film. You're talking about actually making a very good film. I don't want to see a good film. I want to see this bad film.
Because a better film wouldn't have had the same.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have had the same kind of horrible charm.
But that's the thing. This is not Animal Factory. This is not American Me. This is not Shawshank. This is a weird prison film that is completely. I mean, I can't disagree with you. You know what? It's weird because I agree with everything that you're saying in the theory in which you're trying to make a better film that is more artistic and more and better. A better narrative, a better handled narrative.
Yeah, but it's easy to make I'm not saying that it's easy to make a film, but I'm saying this film is so bad that it would have been easier to make a better film. But I'm also saying that this film is so bad while still checking off all the Bruckheimer so-called blockbuster successful qualities of a Bruckheimer film.
Sure.
That it gives it its own personal weird stamp that can't be reproduced. It's that goes back to what I'm talking about in terms of the arbitrariness of it. It's just kind of like this is almost just kind of like a one-off because it's just fucking bad. And I'm not saying that I mean, how many bad films came out in the 90s? Tons of them. But this is its own unique form of bad film.
Yeah.
Not because it's worse and not because it could have been better. We know it could have been better. It's just its own unique form of bad.
Artistically, there is nothing that I can say that will defend this film. It's not a good film. It's not a good film at all. It's a horrible film. But for what it is, it's incredible. And I think that's the difference between this and The Rock, where The Rock has pretensions. This film has no impression. This film is a whore. It is a $2 whore that doesn't mind whatever the fuck you want to do to it. There is no honor here. There is no level of self-respect in this film. This film is this is a fucking whore. And you love the whore for being, you love her for being the whore that she is. She's doing what she does. She's doing exactly what she knows she's capable of doing and all she can bring to it. And even though all of these actors, every single one of them is better in other films, there is a level of greatness that they achieve in this film that would be impossible in any other kind of mainstream quality work. I love the fact that this film, I'm with you where I'm not sure if they knew how bad this film was when they were making it, or if they really thought, oh, that's great, this is great. This is, but it somehow works in the way of making you want to see more of it. And you're like, how ridiculous is this going to get? Oh, they're going to crash land in Vegas on the Strip. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they crash on on the strip. And now John Cusack and Nicolas Cage are going to fucking steal motorcycles, cop motorcycles, and drive through a tunnel. I don't even know what tunnel that is in Vegas.
I don't even care. This film is worse than the sum of its parts.
It's so much worse, but god damn it. Just come to the dark side.
No, but it's one of those that it's almost like a midnight movie.
Oh yeah.
Without the prestige of a midnight movie. Mm-hmm. It's almost one that it's like Con Air is playing at the Arrow or whatever fucking theater.
Yeah.
At midnight, let's go. Let's fucking go. And almost like Rocky Horror. I mean, obviously that's like a cultural thing, but almost to the level where it's like you want to go sit with people who are going to throw popcorn at the screen and engage in this film that is bad.
Yeah.
But it's bad in its own strange, unique way that you can't kind of. I don't even know how to say it. It's like they couldn't have made it. This thing it's like an accident. It's like a fluke.
Mm-hmm. You can think of it as a fluke. I call it a gift. I call it a gift. So I'm just saying. It's like
you call it
potato,
a miracle.
Potato, motherfucker. Just no.
The idea is to make something entertaining and to make money. Yeah. That's what this film is for.
Yeah.
It succeeded on some level in doing that, because it is entertaining, even though it's horrible, but it is entertaining. And it did make, however much it made back, I don't know, but it made money. So beyond that, it does have a strange, special place in the 90s and, and beyond and in your heart. As this weird fucking, it's just like it has these characters that want to stand out but don't. It is kind of like that film in the 90s body of in the 90s filmography. Mm-hmm. And in greater cinema. I don't know how it's. I mean, am I going to put it into cinema of all time? No, but if I look at it in terms of 90s, with these takes on serial killers and the Anarchist Cookbook and all of this stuff that's happening, it's one of those things that you look at and you kind of see that, like, in the cinema ecosystem and in the filmmaking ecosystem, some fucking shit is just a duck-billed platypus. It's just like, where the fuck did this movie come from? It could have been this. It should have been that. Why wasn't it this? Why wasn't it that? It's very strange. And should people watch it? Sure, have fun with it. But also, like, watch it, either embrace it like you embrace it, Rick, or else just kind of like, my thing is just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you really don't know what you're going to fucking get. Yeah. No matter what fucking the ingredients are, sometimes it just becomes whatever it fucking becomes.
You know what? So many times it becomes what it becomes, and it's bad. It's just not. We're how many times have we sat on these mics and just said, that was horrible. That was a horrible experience. My God, it was a waste. Now this is bad, but it's a great experience, and there's something about it where it's like I consider it very lucky. I consider myself very lucky for this film to to not be a complete waste of my time, where I watch it and laugh and just, turn off all logic, turn off any sense of artistic integrity, and just fall into that morass of bullshit that they try to sell us on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. And this is just the one time where accidents happen and shit works. For me, I it's weird. I see what I see what you're saying. I agree with it. But this is where the optimism, rarely, but the optimism does come in. And I'm happy for and it's weird because I think we both enjoy this film. But
it's an easy watch.
And it's an easy watch, it is. But I think there's something about I don't know, maybe because I'm so disappointed by so much of what's out there, that when a film is just unashamed in its stupidity, I kind of embrace it. Like you brought up The Fall Guy. The beginning of it bored me. But the stupider it got, the more fun I started to have with it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you felt that during it, but it was like, oh, finally a movie that's just so dumb, and it doesn't really care about how dumb it is. It's just having a good time with it.
But it's actually smart.
Yeah. In a weird way, yeah. I wouldn't say this is smart.
No, this film is kind of like, it works when it's not supposed to, and it doesn't work when it's supposed to. It kind of just does whatever the fuck it wants.
That's my fucking dog. Are you kidding me? and I love that little bastard too. So that's where I'm at. I know it's a travesty. I know it goes against everything. I know that I'm backtracking on damn near everything that I say about so many movies. Why am I willing to ignore it for this? It's a visceral experience. Sometimes this shit just works, and I think
it's not a science.
Yeah.
This is there is a science to everything having to do with film, including, I'm sure, on some level, like watching a film, and being educated in cinema as a viewer.
Yeah.
But there is no education to one's emotional relationship to cinema. There is none of that. There is no book. There is no philosophy. There is no idea. There's no. All it is just the fucking movie and the viewer and that connection, and that beats everything.
Yeah, definitely.
This strange episode is dedicated to Slim. Thanks for your donation at buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. That's buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. Slim, thanks again. We're going to watch good films, pieces of shit, horrible films, lukewarm films, all of it.
They're out there for your enjoyment. Thank you for staying with us. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.